it's the afternoon, so I'm not going to say morning. So, good afternoon. And this time, the afternoon and evenings are good. Mornings are not. Anyway, so the traffic lights are out again. This happens like every other month, and it's super annoying, and it takes me like 20 years to get home. And so, I guess this is going to be story time. So, I told everyone that I was going to put in a video what happened to my shoulder, and today is going to be that video. So, what happened? I was at Scioto Park off of Riverside Drive in Dublin, Ohio, and my friend brought a longboard out, and he's like, "You want to try it?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I do," because I've never been on a longboard, but I used to skateboard a lot when I was younger, as a kid and into my like early teens, and then I just kind of got away from it. But I never lost the muscle memory to ride a board. So I got on the board, and Scioto Park, basically, if you live in Ohio, you know how steep those hills are. The second one's about a 90-degree angle, and the first one has like a big swoop that comes down. And so I told my buddy, I was like, "Okay, I'll try it. I'm going to go to the top of the first hill. If that one goes well, I'll stop, and then I'll go down the big hill." And I went down the first hill, went like really, really well. So I was like, you know what, let me just ride the whole entire hill. So all my friends are looking at me like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And they're like, "You better stop." I'm just like, "No, I'll be all right," knowing me, because I'm fearless when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I don't know, I just don't really have any sort of like fear factor in longboarding or big hills. Well, I do now, but I didn't before. So went down the first hill, everything went fine, super well, no speed wobbles. Went down the second hill, just about at 40 miles an hour, no speed wobbles yet again. I get towards the bottom of the hill, everything starts going into slow motion. This one guy is looking at me with huge eyes, and he's like, "You're about to die." And I'm like, "Pretty much." And I looked around, I'm like, hey, there's nowhere to stop. There was a giant rock, probably like 100-pound rock or something. It was pretty big, like the size of a manhole. One of those things that pop out of the road. It was just taller. So I hit that, and right before I hit it, I was like, "Oh God, please make it like as little pain as possible. Please make it quick," because I thought I was literally going to die, because it was actually quite a fatal crash. So hit the rock, flew about 15 feet in the air. The impact was so great. It tore my rotator cuff, but on the greater tubercle, which is on the top of your humerus, a piece of bone fractured off the greater tubercle and landed on the acromion process, which is the end of your clavicle. And in the meantime, it tore the rotator cuff muscle as the bone fractured. So I had internal bleeding, and I went to the ER and everything, and they did a CT scan and x-rays, and they cleaned all the abrasions that I had, and it was just not a very fun experience. In fact, I'll insert the picture of me in the ER, which I was there for like 5 hours right now. So that was the picture of my ER, and when I was in the ER, well, when she grabbed that sponge and that tub, she put a whole bottle of hydrogen peroxide, a whole bottle of soap, and she grabbed that sponge, dunked it in there. She scrubbed all my fresh abrasions. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize I completely tore my shoulder up when she started scrubbing my arms. That was so bad. So I went to an orthopedic place. They took more x-rays, a better x-ray, and they overviewed it. And my doctor who did my surgery, he's like, "Hey, we're going to get you in surgery in 3 days, and we're going to take care of you because you have internal bleeding, and we have to catch it pretty quickly." So basically, it was the day of surgery, and I'm already like 18 hours without drinking water, something like that. So I was like super thirsty. And so basically I'm getting ready and prep for surgery. Took my clothes off, had like my shorts on and everything, and put the little gown top, whatever they had on. So I get in the bed, and the nurse comes by, and she put like 3 IVs in me. I think one was like a pre-anesthetic or something to that was gonna like run through me before surgery. She put like some calming drug, I guess, and it was that stuff. It really worked pretty quickly. She's like, "Okay, this stuff is gonna work instantly." I'm like, probably not instantly, but maybe in a couple seconds. She stuck the needle in. She pressed the she like put the tube in or whatever to have the drugs go through me, and I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, it works instantly, dude. And like literally it freaking paralyzed me from like the neck down. Like, I literally could not move, and I was so drugged out. Like, I honestly, like, I told myself the day I had surgery was the day I was gonna die. So like when I was on the little table that they, like the portable bed that they had me on, I actually wasn't nervous, and I wasn't really nervous going into surgery as well. And I did see all the tools that they were about to use on me. So, and this guy, he was like a nerve specialist or whatever. He said, okay, I'm gonna put a nerve block in you. So basically, it numbs from like the part of the shoulder all the way down to like my fingertips. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna stick you real quick." And I was like, "Okay," but I didn't know where he was gonna stick me. And just out of nowhere, he just like jabbed me like right in the neck, and it's funky feeling. Like, so after he injected everything, from my neck all the way through my shoulder and my arm and into my fingers, like, started burning like super bad. Like, I just stuck my arm in an oven and I was on like the metal coils, and I was like, whoa, this is really burning. And then it completely went numb. So all the IVs were in, my arm was numb, I was good to go. They wheeled me back into the surgery room, and first they when I got in there, it was absolutely freezing. They had like a heating blanket on me. They're just like, "Oh, by the way, it's freezing in those surgery rooms." I'm just like, "Oh, okay." I didn't know how bad it was. It felt like it was like negative 10 degrees. It was freezing. So I'm laying there on the table, or the wheelie bed that they had me in, and so they laid me all the way back. They put like an oxygen mask over me, and I think the pre-anesthetic that they had in the IV tube, I think they had that to knock me out for like the first half of it, and then they used a gas, which was like a tube they put through my mouth. And they had to like tape it and everything, and I woke up with like sticky stuff on my lips. So basically, I was laying on the table, and everyone's voices started sounding really weird. My ears started to ring, and I'm like, "You guys sound funky," and they're just like, "What?" And I'm just like, "Your voices, you guys sound really weird." And then boom, next thing you know, like, I'm out. Like, I don't remember anything after that. And then I wake up, and the surgery was about an hour, and I was in recovery for about an hour, or it took me about an hour-ish to wake up, maybe a little bit less. So I woke up, and I hear my name being called by like some nurses or something, and I look up, and I'm just like super nauseous, and I have a terrible taste in my mouth, and it's taking forever to get home. I had a terrible taste in my mouth, and I was super nauseous, and there's like, here, eat some animal crackers, drink some ginger ale. Ginger ale helped a little bit, and I ate 3 animal crackers, and I got dumb sick. Like, even sicker than I already was. And, okay, the lights are kind of working, but they're just flashing red. Interesting. So, basically, they get me in a wheelchair, they put me in the car, and my dad is driving me home, and I'm with my mom and sister as well. And so we're halfway home, and we pull into our neighborhood, and I'm like, "Dad, stop." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, I threw up like all in that puke bag. Like, it was, I filled that puke bag. The nurse did forewarn me that I was probably going to throw up, which was fine. So basically, I went home. I felt pretty okay. I had less pain after surgery than before, which was a little interesting. That was because of the nerve block. And then the nerve block wore off. And after that, it wore off like 4 hours too soon. Worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Muscle spasms galore. Like, holy goodness. So, okay, no one is letting us go. Nice. Okay, I'm going to floor it. I'm very thankful for my car. It's 3.0 V6, and it's 210 horsepower. It's actually pretty quick for what it is. So, oh good, the lights are working now. So basically, that was my whole story. For like the first 3 weeks, I was like sleeping, sitting up in a chair. Freaking do it sooner. So that's basically my whole story. I was in a sling for 2 months, did pendulums for a week, and then passive range of motion for the other week. And I got my sling off 3 weeks ago, something like that. And I have a 10-pound weight limit right now, and I'm currently going through like PT and everything. And I mean, it's not so bad. I'm actually going to New York on the 7th, so I'll be out of town. I'll probably vlog that. I was going to time-lapse the last trip, but it never happened. But anyways, that's a story of how I fractured my shoulder and tore my rotator cuff. Bone's all healed now. Tendon's pretty solid, but not 100% healed. I'll be good after August 17th, which is a 2-month mark of PT. I'll be good to go, and I can like lift weights again, and I'll find clients and stuff, and I'm officially certified now with personal training, which if you saw my last video you would know. Other than that, I'm going to sign off and focus on driving, so I hope everyone has a good day, and I hope you enjoyed my story. If you want more story times, I can conjure up some other crazy stories that I have. So anyways, take care everyone.